Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Almost done with the semester. It's really bittersweet. So my name is Alyssa Davis. If you don't know me, I'm the RD of ARMS shortly for these last few weeks. Join with me as I share my testimony. On October 15th, 1994, on a beautiful, crisp fall day, my beautiful parents got married. Fast forward to August 11th, 1995, I was born. And if you do the math, yes, that makes me a honeymoon baby. My parents weren't planning on having kids right away, but both of them, being the youngest of 5 in different families, were excitedly shocked and eager to begin this new journey. Fast forward 3 years later to August 9th, 1998, just 2 days before my 3rd birthday, my dad passed away from liver cancer. My mom, a beautiful, young, strong 31-year-old widow, faces the most challenging and heartbreaking thing she has ever in her life. Their plan to have at least 4 more kids was suddenly changed. The liver cancer was a shock with my dad. My dad exercised rigorously, ate nutritious, whole foods, and did all the right things to take care of his body. He passed away within a year of being diagnosed. Unfortunately, I've been very familiar with grief and death my whole life. Losing a parent changes you. Growing up without a dad feels like part of you is always missing. The memories I have with him are so vague. Although I didn't really know him here on earth, it feels like I've known him my whole life. Questions linger in my mind daily, such as, how can I deeply love somebody that I never got the chance to know? Why did God call my dad home at just 35 years old? To this day, part of me always feels missing because he's not here. As a girl growing up, navigating hormone changes, emotions, boys, friendships, etc., doing this without a father figure impacted me more than I realized in the moment. I remember being in elementary school and so embarrassed telling friends and their families that my dad passed away and my mom was a single mom. I didn't have the perfect, normal family everyone else had, or everyone else seemed to have. Anytime someone would ask me, what does your dad do for a job? I would just make stuff up on the spot. For the longest time, it pained me to watch my friends interact with their dads. Even in high school and while in college, I had to look away anytime someone hugged their dad. It stung deeply. If you're wondering about my mom and all of this, her and I remained close and still remain close to this day. She's my best friend. My mom dated other men here and there, but never remarried or had more kids. My cousins on my mom's side were my siblings growing up, and God used the affection and safety from my mom's family to come alongside me. At 15 years old, I gave my life to Jesus and chose to follow him and live my life for him. It was then when I began to realize God as our Father. It was hard for me to imagine this type of relationship because I had nothing to compare it to. I remember arguing with the Lord, saying, God, I know you're my father, but I want my earthly father back. Fast forward to college, I grew more spiritually and started processing and being more open about my story of losing my dad. I felt like I was getting to a place where I truly healed from the grief. I then met my boyfriend, now husband, and all of this fear started resurfacing. I was terrified to lose Josh. I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. We got married, and as I entered my first year as an RD at another institution, I decided to go to counseling to process all of this. And for the very first time in my life, I had someone, who happened to be my counselor, look at me and say, Alyssa, when you were 3 years old, you experienced trauma. I was speechless. It sounds simple, but no one had told me it up until this point. I was 25 years old at the time. I pushed it aside for so long and thought I healed, but never realized I never fully surrendered this part of my life to God. Through many counseling sessions, intimate times with Jesus, and inviting him into the areas of my heart that needed deep healing, I found so much freedom in knowing that God is my Father. I remember the first time I called God Father or Dad. It felt weird at first, but I fell to my knees and wept. My heart finally understood and received what my mind had known my whole life. I learned to process the emotions that were under the rug and confront them instead of just sliding them back under the rug. Fast forward again to now, the present day. Yes, I have learned the importance of processing grief and experienced healing, but it still hurts sometimes. Anniversaries are hard to this day. The anniversary of his death, his birthday, Father's Day, fear still paralyzes me at times. I have thoughts that I don't want to go through what my mom went through. If my husband and I have a daughter one day, will something bad happen to my husband? Will my daughter also grow up without a dad? Or will I envy my daughter for being able to have a bond that I never had? It hasn't been easy. There's so much more I wish I could share with you about this journey. I'm still figuring it all out, and it has not been perfect. Grief and healing is messy. If you grew up without a dad or parent in general, whether they left Earth or they were physically present but emotionally so far away and not involved, first of all, I wish I could hug you and remind you that it will be okay. I'm sorry, I was not expecting to cry. Secondly, I want you to know and remember that God truly is the best parent. He will fill every void and silence every fear. While we are here on this earth, there will be pain and there will be moments of wishing the person was here with you. But as Psalm 68, 5-6 states, he is a father to the fatherless, a defender of widows. We also see in Matthew 6, which we just read together this morning and prayed, Jesus calls us to pray and starts it off with our Father in heaven. Jesus identifies God as Father, the beautiful, intimate relationship of knowing God as our Father. In the moments of pain and missing them, missing my dad, feel the emotion, but also turn to your Father, because I promise you, he will comfort you, and one day all of our tears will be wiped away, and we will be with the most perfect, loving Heavenly Father forever. Thank you.